after. I mean, that will leave you in the dust. That's why he made like David Robinson and Patrick Ewing and Shaquille O'Neal look foolish. And those arguably like like the best centers in the league at the time. He made them look foolish because he had a move. He mentally he's setting you up this way. This is why I think Okudah is this way, and that's who I would. I have a move that's gonna if when a guy is positioned and they're ready, they have a move to set you up for you to apply for. And then if you don't apply for it, they have another move for you to apply for. But their last move is the move that they banking on that you're not going to even adjust to. And that's going to give them the leverage. So like if you got a person that's known for a swim move, that's all you got. Then you haven't been positioned to be the very best at yourself. You haven't even maximized you. You just saw what you can do in one position. So that's why I think how Darius Slay was. Darius Slay was a one trick pony. And I'm not harping on him. He was good at what he did. And like I said, for a team that is established, not the Lions, the Lions is not established on the defensive side of the ball. So he's not gonna what Darius Slay brings is good for a veteran team. Like if you had like a excuse me, like a Glover Queen, a Glover Quinn, a DeAndre Levy, you have a Ziggy, you have a Derry, I mean a Sue. If you have that on your team, he is perfect for that because he don't have to be the very best defender. He could just do what he does, and that's to make a play off of them, getting all the attention. So, but Okuda is a guy that he's coming to an establishment that he don't have to be the best defensive guy. He is Darius Slay, but a polished Darius Slay coming in as a rookie. Darius Slay had to learn. I think Okuda is advancing that. He's better than Slay coming in as a rookie than Darius Slay was coming in as a rookie. So he is perfect for what's finna to be established. That's just on the defensive side of the ball. And they're gonna make another move or something like that, especially if they are in contention or a contender, or let's say they are in contention for a playoff Super Bowl run. I'm not just talking about just making the playoffs. I'm talking about they showing their legitimacy throughout the league, whatever. They showing that they are a legitimate dominant force. Then they'll make a move. But the moves that I wanted them to make, like the last couple of years, the Jalen Ramseys and the Chris Jones and so forth, and they wasn't in position for those moves. The team wasn't developed yet. Now, right where they stand now, they are in a position to make those type of moves based upon what their foundational pieces are. Once again, I said again, Trey Flowers, Jamie Collins, Deron Harmon, Trufant, and Tracy Walker. I mean, if that's going to be your base, and I'm going to throw Jelani Tavai in there with with a part of that package. If that's going to be my base, I can go ahead and make a move because I know what these guys are going to bring. Tracy Walker is becoming polished, right? He's becoming polished. He's not polished yet, but those other guys, they have shown enough, like in those pressured moments, the Deron Harmons and Jamie Collins and so forth, and Trufants and Trey Flowers, they have shown what they could do in pressure moments. So I'm gonna say they are polished. They got room to to grow, and that means to expand on other parts of themselves. But they are somewhat that you don't have to teach them how to position themselves to be polished. The same thing coming with the rookie Okuda. Okuda is advanced. He is an advanced rookie. He's great for what this team is going to do, and that's just one side of the ball. And if I were to go offensively real quick, what Big V is going to do for this offensive line, Big V and Jonah Jackson, what those two is going to look. The anchor is Frank Ragnow. That is your bona fide leader, not just of the offensive line, but I want to say of the offense in that regard. The reason why I say that because Stafford doesn't have to be the leader anymore. All Stafford have to do is master Stafford. Stafford don't have to do anything anymore. Not because he's a 10-year vet, 10 plus vet, whatever. He just established. He is polished. He's finally matured to the player that the game is not just slowed down, but he's in position to make the right play at the right time. He's not forcing anything. He's not underforced. He's not double guessing himself. He's positioned. It's like John Elway was when he finally got Terrell Davis that year. He's positioned to take the team to the for as a contender for a title run. Stafford is in position to do that. He is finally matured based upon off the field situation on the field. It's him evolving as a person. He's finally out of that college boy, the keg drinking type guy to this mature guy. He's a family guy. Where, in other words, my family comes first. Life itself comes first versus I could take time for granted. So he's a icing on the cake guy. I don't need Stafford to be anything more but just for him to master himself. That's why I call him the icing on the cake. He don't have to be the leader of the team. He don't have to do the footwork. He don't have to run through linebackers. He don't have to do any of that anymore. The team is set up for that. In other words, the team is ready for a leader now. Just not for him to prove that he's a leader or to establish himself as a leader, but just be a leader. Just lead us. And I think he has enough of a maturity, enough of ripeness, if I can say that, that he is ready to lead a team into a contender. So if it's not here, it would definitely. This is why I would hear, certain, and I give a shout out to once again to DSA, and I believe J-Mo makes a comment about this quite often, or if not several times, that he makes a comment about Stafford needs to get traded. If they don't do what's best for him, they need to trade him. And I commend that sentiment because Stafford is ready to lead a team to a Super Bowl. He is ready to lead a team to a Super Bowl. This team, the Lions, is ready to be led to a Super Bowl. The years that they went to the playoffs with Stafford, they was not ready. Stafford was not ready to lead the team for a Super Bowl run. That's why they went as far as they did. A person like he gave him everything he got exactly. He haven't fully mastered and positioned himself. The pieces of Stafford wasn't all polished and came together. Now, could the final shaving of him becoming this player was the situation with his wife? Could be. Look at what he's doing for like based upon. I don't want to bring this is off the field and is off another topic, but the whole, coming together in the locker room and joining force with the racial situation and all that good stuff and the justice, they said the injustice type of situation, how his wife and him are handling it, whatever the case may be, regardless of their stance on it, it's like how he's coming in the forefront about it. Not trying to say that never was the guy, that he never was that type of guy, but I just never seen it. And of course, unfortunately, we have to go by what we see for actually to be considered what it is. And he can always been that guy behind the scene, but that's the point I'm making about the leadership. He's willing to throw himself as a face out here so people can throw stones at. For years, he have been taking abuse in the media, regardless if it was local or if it was national. He's an overpaid guy. He's the number one guy. Don't live up to the hype. Never got to the playoffs. Guy. So many different things. He's not a good guy. He's not a good quarterback, etc. He's trash. He's a bust. He have heard so many different things. This is the first time I ever seen him not so much defend himself, but step up in his light to say like, I'm about to show you who Matthew Stafford really is. And I heard somebody make a comment like it was about Patricia, about the real Patricia. Please stand up. Are you the one for the past 2 years? Are you the one this year? And he is. I go on record to say like he's the same guy that he was the previous 2 years, coming into his third year. The only reason he couldn't show it because you didn't have. It's like casting your diamonds, your pearls among swines. That's a biblical scripture. It's like casting your good possession upon those who won't even know the significance of it. What's the point? If you got players that's already like I said, Paul Pasqualoni was like a guy to position a player, to put a player in position to be better. This is from a mental, as a person aspect, based upon of his knowledge of what he knows. Right? He was there to do that. He wasn't there to be the defensive coordinator per se. The defensive coordinator is basically is a guy that he basically shows you how to see the game from a mental aspect. Your talent is the physical aspect, but you need a guy to show you how to be a defensive, how to see it mentally. And if Paul Pasqualoni can't do what he does to a player that already believes that they can see it, then there's not much you can do with that. So with that being said, I Patricia is the guy that he has always been, but he couldn't show it to a bunch of players who have never seen anything. They have never been they never got off the porch per se to get out and involve themselves to life. But yet they have somewhat of some accomplishment, a small taste of it, going to the Pro Bowls or something like that, and people may know your name, and you may make a player here and get a name recognition based upon a fan or fans may see something that you've done, they think that this is who you are, and it's not. Last year showed it should last past 2 years should have showed the Lions fan what kind of player Darius Slay really is. If it's good the way he wants it, he's a great player. But if it's not where he wants it, he's not. You really won't get his very best. You're gonna get a disgruntled guy who's going to show up, who's going to strap up and everything else. But you won't get the play that you would get. Like this is like for 2019 and 2018 and 2019. You're not gonna get the same Darius Slay that you would get in 2017. They say, well, that's based upon a Cardwell. If you certain players, you got to give them what they want. And Matt Patricia is that self same guy. You got to give him what I want to succeed. So if you got two on the same team, two in the same organization, but it's not on the same page, it's going to be a constant clash. Darius Slade believed that he earned his way to get what he wants. But Matt Patricia said, like, your standard of saying that you earned anything is really less than a Super Bowl aspiration, such as you have. He worked with Darrell Reeves and he worked with Tyreek Talib. I can't think of his name. I'm drawing a blank. I want to call it Talib Kweli, but I don't want to do that. But Talib, you got different guys that he have. Stephon Gilmore, whatever. I mean, I don't know about Stephon Gilmore, but you got different guys that he have uh, that he saw like come in as a rookie or come in as whatever, and they're polished. They know how to conduct themselves, not just on the field as a person that's inexperienced or immature. Not just that, but on the field they know how to make an opponent play off of them versus being a player that you react off the opponent. And Darius Slade was a guy he couldn't like. Darrell Reeves was great at even as a smaller receiver or not as much of a fast receiver. He was great as pushing you not off your mark, but in your head to push you away from your first move that you're going to do to make you respond to him. Darius Slay wasn't good at that. And this is why I believe that Matt Patricia was saying that Darius Slay is not good at the Xavier Rhodes and the Richard Shermans and so forth. Those guys are mentally established players. They know how to position their receiver to make the receiver play off of them versus them reacting off the receiver. And of course, every now and again, you get a receiver that can actually make those corners react a certain way, and then that you will hear the defender say like that's a good receiver because he made me altering them. So Darius Slate doesn't do that. With that being said, Okudah is going to bring you that, but Okudah he doesn't have to do that right. Yeah, well, actually, he's going to do that out the gate. But you have a. I'm just ecstatic about this team, and of course, I was talking about the offensive line or the offense itself. All right, let's say for example with Kerryon Johnson. What the fans I think was expecting out of Kerryon Johnson was to be mature. Okay, there's okay. There's comments about how he's not showing training tape or this, or he's really not approaching the game seriously, versus to a comparison to another, you know, excuse me, another player. And I would say about that, this is why I would say that DeAndre Swift is what the team needs. You don't have to you don't have to position him for him to be matured to present himself versus a person that's arrogant, like I already know who I am. I already know what I'm gonna do. And that's minor success. You know what I mean? If you've done it once or twice, that's minor success. But if you don't have like at least 2 to 3 years of it, of making players react to you, you're not really dominant. I mean, I'm sorry, he couldn't even stay healthy. Carry on couldn't stay healthy for a full season, so he don't really have much of a tape where he's making the defender respond to him, where he's put in position, where he's putting the defender in position to respond to him. In other words, that's a mental battle. Chess is that way. The chess game is, of course, is about moves and everything, but the moves is based upon I'm going to make you react to me versus me reacting to you. Whoever whoever wins that battle wins the game. Whoever can make the other person react to them first by a move that they're making to make them react to them, to make by the move that they're making to make the opponent or the opposing player to react to them is the winner. This is why I say that Matt Patricia is successful. He's making offensive coordinators react to his defense based upon his mental aspect. That's why I would say he's a genius. He's making Andy Reid. He's making Andy Reid at the time is like Bill Belichick. Andy Reid was probably like the best two coaches that he went up against like for the past 2 years, and he made them react to him. Even though Bill Belichick probably know what he's going to do, and Andy Reid probably know what he's going to do, they had to react to them. That's why they were going on the record by crediting the Lions. Andy Reid went on credit Matt Patricia. He's making you think. It's a chess game. He's making you react to him. That you can't, man. That is greatness, and this is why I applaud Matt Patricia. He's mentally advanced. Now he's shaving himself to make himself polished. Now this is his first go around of being away from Bill Belichick, so he has to learn how to fly on his own, flap his own wings. So he's going to make his mistakes. But this year, it's not one of those things that like the Lions should win by default, or by based upon there's not enough with the pandemic and so forth and the effects of that going into the league, or just the other talent of the division is not as good. Now, this if the Minnesota Vikings coach has gone on record by saying, or was it no, not the coach, but the defensive coordinator goes on record by saying, "I have never had a bad defense." He's basically showing that kind of confidence, right? I I'm going on record to say this: the Lions would dominate them this year. They would dominate the Vikings this year. This is going to be the year the Lions. This is not a hype dream or a hype video or whatever else, and this is just based upon the ripeness of how all the pieces is coming together. This is going to be the year of dominance on both sides of the ball. This is not something I'm hoping for. It's not something I'm trying to speak into existence. You just see it. Like if anybody was watching how the Pistons going to work crew was being assembled, and if you want to go back farther than that, you can see how the bad boys, or even see how the Tigers with Cabrera and all when they went up under Leland and Dabrowski, how they went to the World Series. If you see how the team was being developed off of Pudge Rodriguez, and then you're gonna make move for I can't get his name out. Monorez, I can't think of his name. Uh, they got certain vets to bounce off what he had going, and then he got a couple of pitchers here. He already had Verlander, who was coming out of the rookie ranks, and Then you, of course, in the trade, you got the couple pitchers, one from Seattle and one from the Mariners. And then you're seeing this team evolve. You're seeing the players come here and to get this and to get that. And you see how it's being specially built based upon one player. Pudge Rodriguez established the Tigers run, that Leland run. Pudge Rodriguez. He was off his free agency. That established it. The guy who hit the winning home run, uh, uh, Magni Ordonez, him. You got these players, right? Same thing with the going to work crew. You built it off of Jerry Stackhouse was here and already, and you made a trade, signing trade deal with Orlando. You sending Grant Hill over to Orlando, and you getting back Chucky Atkins and Ben Wallace. And so you make your team off of that coming year. The team was horrific. You have Michael Curry. Not even Michael Curry. I don't even think. I think you had Cedric Sabalas and Eric Montrose and so forth. And you was really trying to figure out what you had, and you don't really have anything. But Ben Wallace established that team, like that. And I say that to the same thing of Trey Flowers. Ben Trey Flowers is Ben Wallace, and you can build off of Trey Flowers. Man, I love this team. I mean how they're assembling this team. The Jeff Okudah pick is perfect for this team, this particular year. Last year, not so. Maybe next year, not so. Let's say, for example, the way this team is assembled right now, if if this team was together by the time of the draft this year, Isaiah Simmons would have been perfect for this team. Been perfect. But before you got the true fonts and all the I mean, you have that, but you still got a disgruntled. You don't know how your locker room is. You don't know who you're gonna let go and so forth. It's you know what you have now. You got your Deron Harmons, you got your Collins, you got your so forth. You know you have that, right? You don't have to worry about if you're going to get him to come here, if the Patriots are going to let him go, if you're going to be able to trade for it. You don't have to be concerned with that, right? So Isaiah, if that was established going into the draft, Isaiah Simmons would have been perfect to pick third overall. But since it's not, you can't position him to be positioned to maximize his very best. I don't think he's coming in that ready, that matured yet. Don't get me wrong, I think he has a world of talent. And I think he's a great asset for the Cardinals, but I don't think he's fit for us. As Jeffrey Okudah is ready to display what he did and is right for what the Lions what they brought in this year in the offseason. Big V going to that. Big V does the exact same thing what Okudah does to the defense side of the ball. Big V does the exact no, I'm sorry. Jonah Jackson does the exact same thing what Okudah does for the defense as a rookie, coming in established. He's coming in established, and he's going to establish. I believe he's the left guard, I believe, or he's the right guard. Even if he's on, they say he's the right side of the ball. The trouble has been for the previous years. What with the where was T.J. Lane? The left side or the right side? I'm going to say he was on the right side. And when he was there, you had a solidified spot because based upon his veteran leadership and what he knew, right? You didn't have to teach TJ Lane how to be TJ Lane or how to position himself to make a defender to to move to him. He you didn't have to teach that. So that's why he was considered one of the best linemen, right? Or he arguably our best lineman. But that developed Ragnow. Now you don't have to teach Ragnow. Well, he's still grooming, but you don't have to teach Ragnow how to position himself to make a player counter his, or better yet, Ragnow is becoming in a position to make a player to respond to him. That's when you know you're dominant. When you can make a player respond. you can purposely make a player respond to you in a certain way. And so that's what, of course, Okudah does for that. But Big V with Jonah, say like that's your right side of the ball. You got Big V, Jonah. Said half of Ragnar makes all of what Jonah Jackson bring better, and that gives less. And what this is working the other way, what Big V does for Jonah Jackson, all his experience, what he have learned upon like a Super Bowl contention. I mean, he's replacing two Pro Bowlers. I think it was Johnson, Lane Johnson, and Jason Peters. I believe that was the guys that was in front of him in Philadelphia. He makes, but what he brings on that edge, he makes. Matter of fact, he makes the whoever is lining up against him on the defense in practice, he makes them arguably better. That makes Ragnar better. Ragnar is your anchor. He is your leader. That gives him less work to work with. I mean, that he has to do. I mean, that gives him like an easier pathway to be to display who he is on the full display. And that's why I say like the Big V move is like great. He's like a proven rookie coming in. He's like a. That's why you give him that money. And of course, you don't want to see him get injured and nothing like that. He'll bounce back. But he, Jonah Jackson, with Ragnow, makes Taylor Decker and whoever's on the left side of the left guard better. That that half from Ragnow to Big V makes the other half of Ragnow going the opposite way that much better. This offensive line is going to be great, even if you have a Joe Dahl. And of course, they drafted the guy Steinberg, and then people wanted to come in and whatever. If he's not ready to come in, if put like this, whoever compliments Ragnow the best, you put them. I don't care if it's Wiggins. I don't care if it's Ibushi. I don't care if it's Crosby. I don't care who it is. If it's Bo Benchwall, I don't care who it is. Whoever compliments at that left guard position, whoever compliments Frank Ragnow the best, you place them there because he is the guy, your anchor. Jonah Jackson compliments, I believe, Frank Ragnow the best, so you put him there. Whoever, remember, look at it this way. What I consider an anchor, they are the very best at at like on their in their position, right? And so if Frank Ragnow is the anchor, you got to give me talent that's going to complement that or surpass it, not something that's going to be beneath it. Because if it's beneath it, you got to develop it. You know what I'm saying? You got to pretty much position it for it to be the very best that it can be. That's why I say going back to this, Jeffrey Okudah is a guy that you really don't have to polish that much. You don't have to position him for him to be great. He's coming in ready to absorb, not just knowledge, not just information. He's ready to see the mental approach of the game, like how he can. Like if you got a true find that could show, like a true find been in the league for like say they say 5 to 10 years, and true find may know the ins and outs about it, right? Because he have done it on a high level, right? So not just being in the NFL, but just period on performing at a high level, he's been doing it. So True Fine could say something, just like just as information. Okuda could take that and apply it to the field instantly like that. And then True Fine will go on the record by saying like he gets it. He gets it. He is a quick study. That's what I'm talking about. You could the when a player is ready for the mental approach of the game, not the physical approach, the mental approach, where you making your opposition to respond to a move that you purposely intended for them to respond to. That's what makes a guy like Michael Jordan as a technician, or my guy has always been Akeem Olajuwon. And he will make you look. I don't care who's checking you. He will make you look foolish because he has four different moves, but he's banking it off mentally. That's why I think with the whole Ramadan, all that spiritual thing is basically maturing him mentally. And what actually opens up his mind to see a bigger stage. And that's why you get like the coordinators, where Paul Pasqualoni to do, from based on all of his knowledge, to open up the player's mind to see something from a grander stage than basically what they can see it. So Elijah Wan would position you to make a move, purposely position you to make a move off the move that he's positioned you to make a move off of, to counter. So anyway, with that being said, Lions fan, I salute.